Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is Batman Earth 1 Volume 3. Now, this is the third volume of the Batman Earth 1 series, which is a series of graphic novels written by Geoff Johns and illustrated by Gary Frank, and obviously published by DC Comics, and these feature the character of Batman, who was originally created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Now, these comics are specifically set outside of the mainstream DC continuity. They're set in their own universe or timeline. The first Batman Earth 1 graphic novel was published in 2012, and the second was published in 2015. And this was published in 2021. Now, I already reviewed Volume 1 back in 2015 because I do these Batman reviews every year, and I reviewed Volume 2 in 2016. Now, I do want to point out that there are other Earth 1 comics for other DC characters, like there's a series of Superman Earth 1 graphic novels, as well as a series of Teen Titans Earth 1 graphic novels, and I think Wonder Woman as well, and I'm not sure if those are in the same continuity as this or not. Like, I've heard some people say that they are, and I've heard some people say that they're not, that Earth 1 is really just a label rather than a shared continuity. Now, the Riddler was the main villain of Volume 2 of this series, and in this continuity, the Riddler was reimagined as a sadistic serial killer, something that the most recent film, The Batman, seems to have been heavily inspired by. Now, in Volume 2, Harvey Dent, Gotham City's district attorney, was killed, and that becomes really important for this volume of the series. But in this continuity, Harvey Dent has a sister named Jessica, who Bruce Wayne knew since they were children, and he's actually in love with her. Now, the plot of Volume 3 is somebody is supplying military-grade weapons to gangs and drug lords within Gotham City, and it appears that their supplier is none other than Harvey Dent. The issue is, Harvey Dent is dead, or so it seems. But in the story, Bruce Wayne and Alfred meet a man who claims to be Adrian Arkham, Bruce's grandfather from his mother's side of the family, because in this continuity, Martha was actually related to the Arkhams, another thing that the most recent Batman movie definitely took from these comics. Now, Adrian was believed to have been dead for years, and he claims that both the Wayne and Arkham families are cursed because of their roles in building Gotham City over the land of indigenous people, and he believes that the entire city is cursed by evil spirits. But yeah, Volume 3 was really good. I will say some of the revelations, particularly about Harvey Dent, you do see coming a mile away, especially with what was set up in Volume 2. But with the character of Adrian Arkham, or the man who claims to be Adrian Arkham, I was actually genuinely surprised with some of the twists they ended up doing with this character. And throughout a lot of it, there is a genuine mystery of whether or not there is something supernatural going on. And without giving too much away, there are some familiar Batman characters who do show up towards the end of this comic. Now, Killer Croc, who is traditionally an enemy of Batman, was introduced in Volume 2, and he comes back in this volume, but in this comic, he's actually a good guy. He's an ally to Batman and Alfred, and I actually really liked that. I hope that if they do more Batman Earth 1 comics, I hope that they don't eventually make him a bad guy, because I actually really like this version of Killer Croc. I like him as a good guy. Now, Selena Kyle, better known as Catwoman, shows up in this, and I'm gonna be honest, it's not that there's any problem with Selena Kyle's characterization in the comic, but I'm not a fan of how she's designed, or at least how her costume is designed in this comic. Not that there's anything wrong with the artwork, Gary Frank is an amazing artist, but yeah, the way her costume is, yeah, I'm not really a fan of this Catwoman costume. But yeah, I do recommend Batman Earth 1 Volume 3, especially if you're a fan of the first two volumes, but that was my review, and bye.